What's up, power hitter, solar warrior tribe? This is Jarrett McAllister, the virtual solar pro. Today is Tuesday, May 2nd, 2023, and I'm alongside my co-host, Mr. Jonathan Brunasso. What's up, brother? How are you, man?
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm doing great. We got a ton of sun out here in Vegas. Summer's around the corner. We're going to kick things in high gear. And we're missing Tom Cotter today because his child was at a field trip. So
that he realized last night that he had a field trip to go to today. So yeah, he will not be on the training today. But hey, once again, benefit of this platform, right? He's not stuck at some desk job where he had to clock in, had to miss out on those precious family moments. So
absolutely.
For sure. But yeah, man, we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. I'm excited for this to continue on this mentor part 2 of the series, how to be a great mentor. And for those of you on YouTube, this is, if you're checking it out on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your fellow solarpreneurs so they can take advantage of this knowledge that we're dropping. And then for everyone else, I just put the YouTube channel in the chat. But yeah, man, feeling good. Just got out of the cold plunge today. I'm on like day 6.
Wow.
I ordered one of those little cold plunge tubs. And my one concern was I was going to have to add ice every single day to this thing. But the water out of my faucet here in North Idaho is 43 degrees straight out the tap. So no ice required. But yeah, it's been an awesome experience.
I can't wait to buy one for myself. And I've been doing cold showers for about 3 years now. So you get addicted to it for sure. Absolutely. I know today, Jarrett, tomorrow we have master class, guys. So 9 to 1 jam-packed 9 to 1 Pacific of info and training and CEO calls. So today we're going to just roll straight through pretty quick here. So we'll keep it interactive. And yeah, let's get into it.
Cool, man. Well, let's jump into success stories like we do every single week about this time. As I mentioned, yeah, if you are new to power, right? You've been here since the beginning of 2023. If you've added a new team member to your team, if you've closed some new deals, right? If you have some ambassadors, if you want to share a win, feel free to raise your hand. I'll call on you. Or if you've sold a NEM 3 deal, please share that success story as well. So right off the bat, I see my man Joseph is getting his walk on. Let's call on Joseph. What do you got, brother?
Joseph's been here a while.
Thanks for having me. I'm on my treadmill here, working out, trying to lose a few pounds. I've been here 16 months. It's taken me a while to really get clipping. In the last 5 weeks, I brought in 4 new join members, 2 new ambassadors. But, now the challenge is getting them through their certifications and actually getting to listen to what I have to say. And I'm doing exactly what I'm learning, taking the knowledge I have and giving them, all that. I do have a ground mount, nice deal that I sold a week and a half ago. It's moving forward, but it's taken me a little while to really understand what exactly I have with power and the opportunity. So just excited to be a part of something, and I feel the steam. I feel like I'm really understanding it. And thanks for the opportunity.
Right on, man. I
Chris
appreciate
Brunasso, yeah, Chris is my mentor, brought me in.
Right on, dude. Yeah, no, man, that's cool. It's everybody takes this at their own pace, right? Some people jump on board and boom, fire right away. They're closing 4 or 5 deals first month. Some people, I mean, myself included, when I first started, I did a couple deals within my first few months. I was just trying to get a lay of the land, learn how solar works. But that's what's great is with this platform and this opportunity, everybody has the ability to go at their own pace. And as long as you just stick with it, you will see success. So right on, Joseph. Appreciate that. Now, for someone that did definitely follow directions, someone who's been here within this year of 2023, Tracy Canoni, I see your hand raised. What do you got?
Hey there, Jared. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank one of my very best friends and mentor, Jarrett McAllister, for bringing me on to Power and the Power platform. super excited to be a part of this. It was something I didn't even think was out there. I didn't even know anything about solar, nothing about sales. So I've already been here about, what, 2 months? Sold about 5 already projects. Wins this week. I just got my solar sales license for California. Super excited about that. And I joined a BNI group in my local chapter. And the first profession they wanted to be a part of that chapter was a solar consultant. So big wins for me this week. So I'm ready to start kind of jumping on and moving forward.
Tracy. Oh, I love that. You are kicking butt, taking names. I'm so proud of you. You've really grabbed this opportunity by the horns and you've ran with it. Like you said, you've done about 5 deals. You've been in here for, I don't even know if it's been 2 months. It's been just maybe 5 or 6 weeks. She literally jumped on board right before NEM. She's coming from the construction side of business. You guys get ready to know this name, right? Tracy Cannoni, the new construction queen. When you have new construction projects that needed solar, ADU, stuff like that, you're going to be reaching out to her. But I'm so proud of you, really. You've been kicking some serious butt and ready to make a name in this industry.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm just, every time I'm going onto the Power platform, I find out something new with the marketing, and it's just an amazing platform to even be on the educational side of it, and just learning so much from it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Right on. Thank you for sharing that, Tracy. Right on. All right. Do we have Miles? How long have you been on the Power platform?
Hey, brother, I've been on the platform for just about 2 years, but 6 months of that I couldn't see. I had 5 surgeries in my eyes, and without sight, I still did 6 deals here in 6 months. So I love this Power platform. But just, I want to say today, because of BNI, I joined a BNI in January. I became president of my chapter, so a lot of exposure. And today I have a brand new sign up. He's on. His name is Garrett Charlton. He's the son of one of my BNI people. So just want to shout that out. And also I got one of my highest commissions, 9K. Got that today. So.
Yeah, I love some 9K commissions. And hey, congrats on being able to see again, dude. Like that's huge. I mean, money's nice and all, that's great, but to be able to have that vision back, that's an incredible, that's a win. That is.
Yes, it is.
All right. With that being said, we have time, maybe do one more because we do have a jam-packed day. Jonathan, is there anybody else you want to call on before we wrap this up?
Did Bill or Nick close a NEM3 deal that you can specifically speak to? That would be the only share here that we have time for left.
Yeah, this is Nick. Sorry, Bill.
Go for it.
On the trend of BNI, so it's not who you know, but who knows you, right? So I have a member who left the chapter after 18 years, but still remained in my group, in my networking group, referred me to a deal in Los Altos. Had a legacy Sunny Boy system, so an old 20-year-old system. We're replacing it with fewer panels, 2 batteries, and a span, and an EV charger.
Wow.
Thank you, BNI.
NEM2 or NEM3?
NEM3.
Very cool. Anything you realize when you were presenting a NEM3 deal? Like, hey, this is not as hard as I thought, or hey, it still has a value proposition. What was your takeaway?
The value proposition is the same still, right? It's long-term savings. It's avoid the rate hikes. On May 1st, PG&E jumps to 39 cents and 51 cents during peak. So the value proposition is still there. And this was an early adopter of solar who had an old sun power system, 18 years old, and we're replacing it.
Awesome, Nick. Nice job. Yeah, I think as we start to present net metering 3 and we really get into it, we're going to find that the homeowner, they don't know the difference. We show them the value. We show them 2 or 3 great options, and we're going to kick major butt this summer with our batteries and all the options that we have. So nice work, Nick, leading from the front and crushing BNI as well. All right. So I know there's lots of success stories. Please share them in the chat if you do have more. And we have to cover 2 or 3 quick updates, and then we'll go ahead and get into the training here. And thank you, Jarrett, for leading the way there on the success stories. If Sarah or Jarrett want to continue letting people in and monitoring the group, that would be fantastic. A few more success stories. Leaderboards, April of 2023. We're going to hear Jonathan Budd shout out some of these leaders tomorrow on the CEO call, but sales for the month of April. We got Yuvraj, Brian. I was able to hold it down at the 3rd spot, 14 personal deals. Some of those were closed by the mentors we're going to hear from today. Justin, Richard, Jamie, Jaime, Patrick, Tommy, and Stephen, Xiaowan as well. Shout out to you all. Referrals, those of you recruiting and building the business. Wow, Titus, 17. Michael, that might be Michael Ayers, Reno, Nevada, tier 3 mentor. My brother Chris in 2nd place. Matt in 2nd place. Zachary Bach, a beast of a realtor EXP agent. You want to follow that guy. Daniel, Glenn Massimillo, Xavier, shout out. Taylor and David R. And then the tier 3s in the month of April: Charles Thompson, Tony Denner, Christopher, Wally Alex, Luis Perez, Mike Rosenfield, Jean Pierre, Chris Brunasso, and Michael C. So big shout out to all the people on the leaderboards for April 2023. And a few updates. Mentor Factory, fly into Orange County, LA County for July 21 and 22. It's a 2-day event. We're going to have some amazing speakers, including Jarrett and Danny Pessy, myself, and some other entrepreneurs, not just in solar, not just in power. So you definitely want to come to this. Go to mentorfactory.net. This is JC Rangel's event that he throws on outside of Power Corporate. We had people from Texas and Florida last year, so I'd love to see all of you guys for 2 days at the Embassy Suites. Quick update. My twin brother Chris created solarmasterguide.com, which if you don't know, then you're sleeping under a rock. It's literally the Bible of everything you need to do at Power and in solar, period. And we added some new items. I added a Las Vegas solar homeowner presentation, and I added a Sonova entering a deal from Solo to Sonova with 1 battery promo. So if we go to Solar Master Guide, click resources and tools, homeowner presentations, Las Vegas presentation. And Jim and Michelle here, shout out to you guys. They come from 13 years of real estate, years and years of solar, and they're like, we've gone through every tab of every sheet of every line, and it's amazing. And if you go to Sonova here, you can see the enter a deal from Solo into Sonova as well. So always keep an eye on that, solarmasterguide.com. Lots of new stuff is added all the time there. Feel free to take a screenshot of this if you're watching live or recording. This is our training schedule for our team and Power. So every single day of the week, JC trains, Power Calendar, Lease PPA, enterprise training with Melissa. I just did an enterprise training, by the way, that was also added to Solar Master Guide. And that would be under enterprise. And maybe I need to add it actually here. So I'll add that. We just did a new enterprise training as well. And that'll be uploaded to my YouTube today. So lots of different trainings, market development trainings. Obviously, you should be attending your local market development training, no matter what state you're in. Tomorrow, May 3rd, masterclass. They're going to be covering NEM 2 to NEM 3 transition, product updates, the platform updates, and much more with the CEO call. May 13th, some of you will be doing in-person solar Saturday called Power Day. So May 13th, go ahead and check on Power Calendar and build into, attend, invite into, and go with guests. May 13th, Power Day, guys. The first hour is the business presentation. Then they do a few hours of training. It's amazing. If you haven't attended one, if you're going to be attending one or training at one, go ahead and throw it into the chat. I know Scott Crum always does a great one up north. And we got Mentor Factory, and then September 7th to 9th is our 2-day in-person Power World once a year. This time will be in San Diego. Stay tuned for tickets on that. All right. With that, we're going to call up a few people here in just a second. For the purposes of a recording, I'm going to just set the stage here again one more time. So this is how to be a great Tier 3 mentor with power series training. This is part 2. We're going to be interviewing some of the top Tier 3 mentors in power in the company. We're going to be asking them specific questions. And we have another part 3 coming up as well soon in the future. So when we look at all Tier 3 sellers year to date, Luis Perez, who's on a flight to Miami, couldn't make it. Jean-Pierre, Ishmael, Tony Denner here. We're going to hear from Cynthia Alvidrez. We're going to hear from Janice Vaughn. We also have Chris Brunasso, and then myself and Jarrett to do a little bit of a panel open forum question and answer today for y'all. And feel free to type questions in the chat as well. Now, when we look at all time with power, we got JC Rangel, #1 in the company, Edgardo Charles and myself. I don't do mentor deals anymore. Wally Arita, William Contreras, Maria Gilberto, and Luis Perez holding in number 10. Very strong there. So shout out to all you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and invite up some of the guests here today. Let me highlight them. And we're going to ask them a few questions. And we really want to explain what the Tier 3 mentor is for some of you new people. So let me go ahead and start with that first. So Tier 3 mentor with power is some of the best lead gen in the entire solar industry. If you join power and you're new to solar, you have to do 3 deals with a Tier 3 mentor, then 5 deals on your own, passing the Tier 2 certification, then take a test, and you can be promoted to Tier 3. If you have 12 months of solar experience or more, and I don't mean 4 or 5 deals, I mean a year of experience, and you do 1 deal when you join power, then 5 on your own, take the Tier 2 certification, take a test out, you can get promoted to Tier 3 mentor. It's honestly very powerful, and you have to agree to, represent power, our ethics, our integrity. You can't be going taking stuff outside of the company, soliciting, doing all this other stuff. You are a committed leader, mentor, trainer, closer. You're getting 50% of the commission with the utmost trust on this platform. And they can demote you or kick you out of Tier 3 mentor if you'd fail the ethics and integrity and if you're not following compliance guidelines. So just be mindful of that. You always want to pass Tier 1, Tier 2 certs, pass your vision, roofing, battery certifications, get that test out once you've done 5 deals 100% on your own, and you may need a license in a local market. So let's go ahead and highlight a few people. Let me see how I could do this. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Chris, Jarrett, Cynthia, Tony Denner, and Janice to go ahead and come off mute here. And let's go ahead and just pick 1 or 2 of you to answer the first one. How has being a Tier 3 mentor changed your business, your income, ways that you might not have known when you first joined power? Ladies first, Cynthia or Janice?
I will start with that. So Tier 3 sales are the majority of my sales and my income. And when I look at what percentage of income comes from mentor sales or personnel sales, 80%, 60 to 80% is mentor sales, where the minority of my sales are personal. So it's been huge. If you can get to mentor and you're helping other people close their deals, then you have a stream of leads that's coming to you that you don't have to go and find. And so it's kind of like getting company fed leads in a way, right? Because here at Power, we don't have company fed leads. So that is definitely our source of fed leads.
And do you mentor other people, not just in the team you've built, Cynthia, but you've also connected with many people outside of your team?
Yeah, actually, the majority of my sales, I don't have a large team. So the majority of my sales were from just tier 1 seller Power platform that are looking for a mentor that maybe signed up under someone that wasn't a mentor. There are so many of those coming on these trainings, and just showing up and showing my face is kind of how people got to know that I was a mentor, and they'd reach out and ask if I could help them with their deals. And so that's really how the ball got rolling with mentor sales.
Awesome. Janice, let's go to you. Which one of these bullet points here resonates for your business this last year that's helped you as a tier 3 mentor?
I would say the same thing. Well, I just want to start with how it's affected my sales and my experience in Power. So one of the coolest things I've experienced is just connecting with people I would have never otherwise known. And then I guess the satisfaction of helping them succeed, whether they're not on my team or not. Because like Cynthia, I'm just growing a team. It's not big. And it doesn't really matter where they're coming from. It's just been so rewarding and fun to have someone come in with no experience, or maybe a little bit, and just teach them through that and develop that friendship. And that's led to so many other things too. So I was a teacher back in the day, so this is my jam. I love to help people like that. So it's just really changed things and made my relationships in Power stronger. Not just, it's selling homeowners is one thing, but like having those relationships with the people I'm helping has just been awesome.
Very cool. Tony, any of these that you've done being a newer mentor here with Power that you didn't expect, or ways that increased your income here?
Yeah, just the same thing. A lot of people, reaching out that aren't even on my team, just looking for somebody to help them out. So if you kind of make yourself available and just let them kind of know what their money, what their job is and what the money making activities are, I think you can do really well. Because sometimes they don't really know what to do. So I just tell them, look, just get a bill, and from there, you go from there. So I try to keep them focused on the money making activities in the beginning and not get them to veer too far off track. And I think if you do that, you can close a lot of deals with brand new people.
Tony, you like posting a lot on social media, Power Hitters Facebook group, showing success stories. Would you say some of that has led to people reaching out to you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to let people know what you're doing. So, and also the market development. So, being involved in that in Illinois, and then also being involved in the California one, that's giving me a good little stage for people to get to know me.
Now, out of the 5 of you, ladies and gents, when you gave really good service to a mentee, a tier 1 mentee, out of you all 5, how many of you had a really good experience with tier 1 mentee, and then that tier 1 referred you to another tier 1 who then tagged you? Raise your hand. I can see all 5 of you. That's super cool. So I think you can literally build a business of realtors and lenders and new to solar people. And I'm sure one of those people possibly brought in 4 people, 5 people, and they weren't tier 3, but they relied on you for everyone they brought in. I
I can kind of speak to that for a second. So I was introduced to a guy not on my team, but he had his own kind of home remodeling business in Laguna Woods, needed a mentor. I was able to help him. And then even though not on my team, none of that really matters. It's just helping and building, and it all comes back. But just helping him, he had the confidence then in Power. He was like, this is actually working well. Onboarded his HVAC partner and another electrician. And he personally was like, hey, this is Janice. She's helped me with my deals. I don't have the capacity to help you. She's going to help you. And so he trusted me with his HVAC guy, another electrician, And then just it's kind of trickling out into this like pool of people. And it all just stemmed from taking the time and having the patience to help this one person. And I was surprised, like honestly, probably 20 of those 42 leads came from that one person and that one call one day. So it's pretty
I thought
cool.
all the 42 are from me. You mean half from
Then
someone else? All right, awesome stuff. I got 2 quick updates here, and then we have some questions here. Actually, I think I just have one. So for all of you watching, how to find a tier 3 mentor, obviously attend trainings, meet some amazing ones like this. We just heard Tony's licensed in Illinois and all these sell in California and beyond. Always ask your leadership or your sponsor first. Check if your own leaders are tier 3 mentors or ask them to recommend a tier 3 mentor. You can always use Power Pair in power.com back office after you enter a lead. And I'll go ahead and put these in the chat here. Solar Warrior Tribes and Power Hitters has created our own lists of mentors. And we've even highlighted who's closed 50 deals on the Power platform, what states they sell in, their calendar link, and so much more for those of you watching. All right, so we have about 3, 4, 5 topics for you today. And, we can kind of jump around here. So what makes a great tier 3 mentor? Let's start with how to handle solar professionals versus non-solar professionals. So I don't know if Chris or Tony, you want to take a stab at this one first, if you do anything different when you're helping that demographic. Don't be shy.
I could jump in if
Yeah, Jarrett
no
too.
one else will say anything. Just there's definitely a huge difference on how to handle a solar pro and a non-solar pro. Sometimes it's a lot easier to handle a non-solar pro, right? Because they're excited, they're coachable, they're ready to learn. And so you're taking them from the beginning, how to read the electric bill, all the way to what adders are and explaining the proposal tool. But when it comes to a solar pro, you kind of need to feel it out, like what their experience level is. Like you mentioned, you could have been in solar for a year, but you've only done 4 or 5 deals, you door knocked and generated some leads. It's not really a solar pro. But if you have someone who's been in the industry 4 or 5 years, they know what they're doing, they know the process, then really it's more so just kind of showing them the Power way, right? Like I'm not teaching them how to sell solar. And for the most part, I'm probably not even doing the presentation for those people, right? But I'm showing them, how our proposal tool works, how the back office works, how our ticketing system works, right? The proper course of action when you need to get a response from a PM. And just kind of just showing them, like I said, the processes with Power. So that is the main difference between a solar pro and a non-solar pro, is one, just showing the systems in place and kind of guiding them along, as opposed to when you're teaching, someone brand new to solar, you're really starting from the beginning and showing them everything and holding their hand through the entire process.
Right. So more systems, technical, communication too, I heard in there. Just, hey, what do you want me to help you with? Getting on the same page. Anyone else want to add in?
Yeah, I'll chime in. I also, on my Calendly, I have a proposal prep session that mentees can book. So if they're a solar professional and they're trying to learn solar, I have them secure the homeowner meeting first and have them book a proposal prep session prior to the homeowner meeting so that we can meet, do some one-on-one coaching and show them how to prep the proposal basically so that they can do it on their own the next time. If they're a non-solar pro, like if they're working with, I have a video that shows them how to enter a lead, tag me, leave notes if it's a handoff. And yeah, I have those options on my calendar. I have shortcuts set up in my phone. That's really helpful. So if I need to send someone my Calendly, I just type in a keyword and it sends them my calendar for either a homeowner meeting or a proposal prep session or a phone call. So that's what's helpful. as far as like that process. And then I do have a text that I save in my notes that just sends them instructions on what to book, what notes to leave, and what to expect.
Awesome. I'd love to see some, I don't know if you can share that text or a little bit of that in the chat here, but that'd be cool to see. I know we shared some on the Mentor Series Part 1 training at the end. We showed some of the systems of Chris and Wally. So let's go ahead and go to Chris. Giving a fish versus teaching the fish. Obviously, you created Solar Master Guide to help with all the mentee deals that are tagging you. But what are your thoughts on like giving them videos, giving them resources and training versus just, doing it for them?
Yeah, totally. When I first started building a team, everyone would contact me and I'd have to look up the resources and tell them the answer and tell them how to do this and do that. But eventually having more recorded videos and then eventually putting all the tools on the Solar Master Guide and also Power Knowledge Base has gotten better. So now when people ask me questions, I just kind of refer them to the Solar Master Guide or to Knowledge Base. So they take a couple minutes, they figure out the tools and resources they have at their disposal so that they're not just relying on texting me or calling me anytime they need something. Then they learn to go ahead and find it themselves. And that's helped my own bandwidth and me to respect my time and set boundaries and them to actually learn it better. When you search for something and uncover the answer yourself, you're going to learn it better than just relying on texting someone every single time. So it's really a win-win.
Nice. Anyone else on teaching your mentees to fish just in general, right? There's so many things versus just answering their question right away. So do you direct them to Power University, Knowledge Base? Who kind of helps people learn how to fish?
I do. I love it. And one thing I will say is Power, even compared to a year ago, is so much more user-friendly in Knowledge Base and everything where I can find it. Before I answer any question, if it is something that I happen to not know, I always check Knowledge Base just to see. So I can just say check Knowledge Base, even if I know the answer, because it just saves so much time. And that's ultimately the thing we're trying to do, right? Scale, make it easy. And then for referrals from that mentee, the experience of, hey, I was able to get everything that I needed. And they learned that and they didn't have to wait for me to respond, if timing was critical. So I love doing that. And I think Power, the platform, is so much more sophisticated and savvy in the way you can search and find what you need now. So I'm definitely always showing people how to do that.
Right on. Well, the next link here, creating using tools and resources to free up your time, kind of the things that we're talking about. And I'm going to go ahead and show Cynthia's text instructions for those of you watching this video. She did put it into the chat though. So text instructions for a tier 1 seller. Thank you for tagging me. Leave notes, open a ticket, assign it to me, as many details as you have on this lead. How you got the lead, details you know about them or the house. Booking the homeowner meeting using the calendar link. Send to homeowner to book or do it with them. Use the option that says homeowners. Choosing option that is at least 2 days away in order for us to prepare the proposal together. That's a fairly common theme. A lot of good tier 3 mentors do. Some tier 3s with not as much time do it right before the presentation as well. And then book a proposal prep session. If you're learning how to sell, great question, and want to join me on preparing the proposal, book this meeting anytime before the homeowner meeting. Use my option on the calendar that says business partners. So really, really slick the way you've set it up there with different options and even asking if they want to learn how to sell. Anything to add on that, Cynthia?
Besides the typo there, no. I do have a separate video that I send to real estate agents because they're a little different, right? They're not going to be booking the homeowner meeting. Most of the time for real estate agents, they're doing the 3-way text introduction for me and their client, or lenders, anyone who's doing a lead handoff type of tier 1 selling. For them, I have a separate video that says, hey, leave tickets, leave notes, and introduce me three-way text to your homeowner so I can book the meeting with them.
I'll ask Cynthia first and anyone else. How do you set the expectation? And this will be more on the next series as well. How do you set the expectation with those different people when communicating with the homeowner up front? Because some of us don't want our mentees trying to give the homeowners updates that could, bosh the whole thing and maybe piss off the homeowner. And there's always a way to present things with a positive, good news and two option scenario before you even talk to a homeowner. So how do you, Cynthia, get ahead of that early on? Who's giving homeowner any communication at all?
So every single Monday, I do my customer pipeline review, where that day I go through every single project, and I do let the tier 1 seller know that their customer is going to be in my rotation. I can update them via three-way text to update the homeowner directly, or I tell the tier 1 seller, I can give you the update, but you need to give them the update exactly how I tell it to you. And the reason for that is because sometimes the tier 1 seller will try to update their customer with the wrong information because they're not used to looking at milestone notes. They're not used to some of the steps or some of the things that might come up, or their communication style might not be might not be super customer service friendly. And so I like the tier 1 seller to really pay attention to the wording that I'm using when I'm updating customers and clients, and handle any problems that might come up, right? So I like to handle the communication. I have had tier 1 sellers who tell me I have years of experience, but then they're botching their own deals by just not communicating well with homeowners. And so I try to handle all communication. And then obviously if it's someone I work with a few times and I know that they're, really good at that, then I might let them handle it more.
Love it. Anyone else on that topic of who updates the homeowner and how to set that with the mentee?
Yeah, I personally try to train my mentees to be the ones to update the homeowner, because I'm teaching them, right, how to do the solar process. But I don't just let them just update them on their own. Usually I'm letting them know, hey, this is what's going on with the project. Go ahead and let the client know these things. And then if they have a question from the client, they're asking me, but then I'm telling them what the answer is so they can go back and talk to the client. Because personally, and this is how I learn, if people are doing something for me, I'm not really learning it, right? But if I'm doing it, even though it may be a little bit uncomfortable, it's forcing me to learn how to do it, right? And go through the process. Also, it's true, when you're teaching others how to do something, you become better at it yourself. So that whole process of teaching others how to do so. But that's me personally. I like to teach them how to do it.
Yeah, I know for me, I used to say only do a communication, a three-way text. I don't prefer if you update them directly. And they just don't know if Diamond Bar's taking 45 days for a permit, or once the designs are done, how come it's taking a week and a half to get it submitted? Maybe there's structural load calcs, wind calcs. Maybe we're behind with NEM 3. We will get it likely submitted, Mr. Customer, by the end of next week. And there's a pattern to communication. And by the way, let us know who else you can help for $1,000 referral. Versus, I don't know why it's taking so long. Let me ping someone. Oh my God, the sky's falling, right? So yeah, we need to do a whole training on homeowner communication, I think.
I have something to add to that.
Please.
So yeah, I agree. So just throwing in my 2 cents, I've done it both ways, but I will say statistics show when I don't handle the communication and set that expectation, things just unravel. Even with people who, like Cynthia was saying, are solar pros, because so much of what we do, we talk about setting homeowner expectations, right? We have to do that with new people, whether they're solar pros coming from a different place with a different energy, or somebody brand new and just learning solar. So I've done it both ways. And I think I've decided I'm always unless there's a really compelling reason, just saying up front, I will handle the communication. Please watch and learn. Like if you want to watch and learn. And because some of the times, some of the things that I've noticed, if I don't control that, a problem will be resolved before, and I would have known to wait. I know the solar coaster, I know it will come, I know it will fix itself. But if I haven't taken control of that, someone new will panic and then the whole thing explodes. So for sure, as people on this call, if you're not a tier 3 mentor yet, I would definitely look at it that way.
This
One
is
thing
such a good point. I want to add one more thing to what Janice is saying, because it's so critical, you guys. If you are somewhat newer on the platform and you're like, great, I've sold my 3 deals on my own, I'm going to go out on my own. There's a lot of reasons to continue to use a tier 3 mentor, because the back end process is so involved. There's so many things that could go wrong. And we are so experienced with like all of those things because we've been through it all. And there's so many things that could pop up on your projects. And so selling the deal is easy, you guys. That part is the easiest part of a solar project. It's managing that project after and making sure it makes it to the finish line with a happy customer so that you get referrals. So highly encourage everyone uses tier 3 mentors for even longer than you think you might need them. That's it.
For sure. And I mean, to your point, Cynthia, I mean, when I first joined the platform, I think I did 5 or 7 mentor deals with multiple different mentors as well. Like if I can give that advice for you guys, if you're learning how to do solar, what's great about the platform is, yeah, pick a mentor, learn from them, do some sales with them, but then find another great mentor, right? Because we all do it differently. And I learned from multiple mentors, the best of the best. And you're going to pick up little pieces what you like from everyone. But yeah, the fact, yes, you can get away with only doing 3, and some people that works, but I don't even know how. I would recommend at least 5, 7 deals with a mentor for sure before going off and selling on your own.
Could I touch on that also? And one thing I found is sometimes the mentee will rely on the mentor to do everything for them, right? And they'll rely on them to do it, right? And sometimes it takes a mentee, if you're new here working with mentors, to really step up your own game and to really try to make your slide deck after your second one. You should be co-hosting the presentation with your mentor by your second or even the third mentor deal you do. You should be really even taking the lead on the presentation. The mentor is right there with you. So, one thing I found is some mentees don't have any real sense of that. They just think the mentor will do everything for them on the first 3, but it's a combination, right? I now take the approach of trying to train my mentees to do the majority of everything themselves and work on their slide deck if they want to sell, right? If they want to sell on their own by the second or third deal, they should be taking the lead. They should be practicing their pitch deck, their slide deck, what they're going to say. So if they would like to go on their own after 3 or 4 or 5, that they're able to. So I think it's a combination of the mentee really, really wanting it and making their slide deck and taking that initiative, and the mentor to guide them and know if they want to sell on their own, that we need to guide them in that fashion.
I want to ask a question. We talked about setting expectations, communicating with the homeowners, but one thing that stood out to me is setting expectations, timelines with these mentees, right? So I'll pose a question. When a mentee gets their underwear in a bunch, I haven't got paid my M1. It's been 4 business days after the site survey, or how come the permit hasn't been submitted yet? Or, how come we don't have inspection yet? Why is the permit taking 40 days? Like, how do you generally approach when a mentee, and everyone has different personality types. Some are more this way than others. Some are all positive in gratitude than others. But how do you slowly help to train that type of person, especially in a market where there might be some struggles? So
I check them really hard.
Same.
Yeah.
No, just it just depends, it just depends on what they're going off about. I mean, if they're complaining about timelines and permitting and stuff like that, I mean, usually they're just not familiar with the industry, right? I mean, and then I have to remind them, especially right now, past few months or even over the past 6 months, like we're in unprecedented times here in California as far as solar goes and the sheer volume and, just to have patience. But once again, this all goes back to setting the proper expectations, not just with your customer, right? Because you got to do that with your customer to prevent them, but setting the proper expectations with your mentee. Because if your mentee thinks, permits are going to be back within a week, they're going to be just like the customer. Hey, how come this, and this? So having that conversation up front, setting proper expectations, I think helps eliminate a lot of that. But then if they get hypey, boom, they're getting checked hard.
I think setting expectations is the clear advice. And then also just not overreacting, letting them know that, hey, this is normal. I don't know how many times a day I say, hey, this is normal. Like, hey, it's normal for things to go wrong. I had a customer the other day upset because their inspection failed. Yeah, inspections fail sometimes. That's completely fine. And we're going to fix it. That's all. And this is how we're going to fix it. This is next steps. And so I think just responding, we always talk about responding versus reacting, right? So if a tier 3 seller, a tier 1 seller is reacting to their customer, like, oh no, they're upset. Just making sure I give that tier 1 seller the response right away that, hey, this is totally normal. This happens. This is the solution. And we're going to let the customer know. And that's it. And I won't even apologize for a lot of those things that happen to the customer unless it's outlandish and it's clearly like a huge mistake on our part. But if it's something like a delay or a failed inspection, something like that, those are normal things like, hey, Mr. Customer, this is what happens. This is the next step. I'll let you know when we have that solution. And that's it.
I love that, Cynthia. And Jordan made a comment in the chat and a line that I've used, and it's one of my favorite lines. And once it was taught to me, I teach it to others. You guys, this is a construction project. Things come up. There are delays. There's multiple moving parts in this. And sometimes they go, oh yeah, you're right. This isn't just magic. Panels end up, glass on the roof. It's a construction project and things happen with construction but to know, no matter what, if something does come up, we always take care of it. It'll always be taken care of. No home gets left behind. So.
And then just separating yourself from the project manager, right? Like in the past, I used to not pretend, but I used to position myself as the project manager, like, hey, I'll handle anything. And it's like, no, we're not your project managers, Mr. Customer. You have an assigned project manager, but me and your tier 1 seller, we're here for you to provide you with any assistance. We're here to explain like what step you're at, to be here if you have any issues. We can help you through those. Like that's what we're here for. And so whenever something goes wrong, being able to say, okay, well, let us check with your project manager. Let's see what they have to say about this. And let's get an update from them. Separating yourself from the project manager will also help position you and your seller as the customer's advocate.
And just to touch on that, also on my Solar Master Guide, I have a tab called Sold Projects, and it lists the different timelines and stages. So my mentees have an expectation of how long things take and what to do if something doesn't happen and how to escalate it. Opening a ticket typically is the first thing, and give it 24 to 48 hours for the PM to reply and answer the question. If they don't get the question answered by then, you can email communication escalation at power.com. So there's a whole process for escalating, and I need my mentees to understand that, and I want them to actually do it so they get trained on how to see the proper steps, timelines, open a ticket, and then escalate if they need to. I have them do that.
I think one thing Chris and I've learned too is like, hey, go ahead and leave a ticket, and by 3 business days, by Friday, if you don't have an answer, go ahead and send me an email. So like a lot of us have learned these tips and techniques from Charles and other people. If a mentee texts you, hey, go ahead and send me an email, I'll get to it. If you don't mind, leave a ticket and allow 2 business days. If you don't have a resolution, then just send me an email. So knowing how to set that expectation and what forms of communication, guys, will drastically help when you're at the level of these individuals. When you're doing 10, 15, 25, 30 deals in a month, some of you may not grasp the need for a calendar link or setting communication like this, but if you're a rock star, you're going to get there real quickly. So yeah, learning how to communicate with them so you don't get bogged down and lose your life balance, I think is huge too. I'm going to have a closing question here for you all, but did any of you want to add anything else as far as the tier 3 mentor training goes?
I wanted to mention, a lot of you guys know Michael Patterson in Florida, one of the top mentors, battery mentors. And, John, he joined our team, about a year and a half ago. And he was such a great example of an amazing mentor. He was on the Facebook Power Pioneers group, helping answering questions. He was in our chat groups, helping answering questions. So if you're a new mentor or you're looking to be more resourceful and help our team and all of Power, being active on the Power Pioneers group, in our chat groups, our Telegram groups, all of these things for any mentor out there is a way that you can engage with more people, that you can be supportive, that you can answer their questions and ultimately get some mentor deals. So it's the value that a mentor can provide to their team, to our team, to all of Power. Ultimately, that'll come back to them because people will see them as that leader, that knowledgeable person, just like Michael Patterson is one of the #1 mentors in the company in Florida for batteries, because he provides that training, that knowledge base. So just a reminder for mentors, that's a great way to be active in all of our communication groups.
Yeah, and just to follow up with what Chris is saying, and Tony said it earlier, it's like, if it's no secret, and I say this all the time, the greatest lead source in the solar industry is being a tier 3 seller, a mentor with Power. But just because you pass a tier 3 certification doesn't mean all of a sudden you're going to start getting tagged on deals. You do need to let yourself be known, get out there, provide value. And once you do that, though, people see the value that you add, like Chris is saying, that's when you're going to get deals and get tagged on things. So yeah, great point.
Any closing thought, ladies, before the final question?
I think Anthony in the chat had asked, how do we go about respectfully informing a tier 1 seller of our schedule? A lot of times I'll get a text like, hey, can you call me? And I don't do pre-calls with clients. I don't do pre-calls with tier 1 sellers. The reason for that is because my schedule is so incredibly tight that everything needs to be booked on my calendar. And so they can leave any notes that they need to in power.com. So there's no need for pre-call. They can book a proposal prep session with me. So there's no need for pre-call. So Anthony, I just let them know. I just say, hey, if you want to book your homeowner meeting, here's my calendar. Here are the instructions. Leave any notes you have there. Because if someone tells me on a phone call, not only are we going to take an hour talking about their lead, and that's going to take a lot of time, but I'm not going to remember anything. So it's better if they actually leave it in writing in the job anyway. So Anthony, I just tell them hey, I can't do a call, but here are the instructions. So just having those instructions written out.
I put in the chat too a script I learned from Charles. Thanks for reaching out. I generally always work off a calendar system. Kindly let me know the topic so I know how much time to allocate and schedule or what resources to send you. Email is always best as well. If you become uberly successful like these ladies and gentlemen up here, you have to have tools and systems. We cannot just take a call. I get 100 to 150 text threads every single day and 100 to 200 emails. And that doesn't even include social media, guys. So just be mindful and respectful. I know a lot of you can't relate to this yet, and hopefully you will. So use these templates and scripts like that one, Anthony.
I want to add to that too.
Janice and Tony, go for it.
Okay, I just wanted to say too, the tickets, I've really leaned into that. And now I get why the project managers and everyone at Power was like, use the tickets, use the tickets. I think what it does is it sifts through what's really urgent and important and what's just a panic text. If you're going to go in, if someone's going to go in and write a message in tickets, it should be substantial. So I started about a month ago, just really encouraging anybody who has a question or specific issue with a project, even ticket me in the portal, then there is a record of it. I don't lose it. It doesn't get buried in text. And also I've noticed it filters out just the, oh, like Cynthia was saying, oh my gosh, please call me. Like there's not really an emergency. Just everybody calm down. That's my special advice for today. And you just teach people, you know, right out of the gate, how to treat you, how to respect your time. I'll still get some of those panic texts filter through, and it's hard sometimes not to respond, but I do send something similar, like, please ticket me.
Joan in the chat says, keep calm and mentor on.
Keep calm, solar on. All right, so I'm gonna ask a 30-second elevator pitch as we close this call and then switch to Q&A. I want you to think of, we're all salespeople here. Think of a few bullet points why you are the best mentor tier 3 in all of power on this call. What would you say in 30 seconds if you had to win someone over? And as you think of that, I'm going to let you all know that our next mentor series, part 3, is going to be on post-sale. You've sold the deal, then what? How do you encourage referrals throughout post-sale? And then just beyond the relationship of that mentee, checking in with them. Maybe they're a realtor. Hey, got any deals going this week? Want me to help do a discovery call? And so stay tuned, guys, for part 3 of a mentor series coming in the next few weeks. We'll get Luis Perez on here as well. So to wrap this up, I'm gonna go bottom right to top for me. So Tony Denner, 30 seconds. What makes you the best mentor out of all the mentors?
I would say I'm a good mentor because I'm always enrolled in all the training. So, you know, I'm a mentor that's going to always get better. And also I'm going to, you know, shoot you straight and let you know what you need to focus on to make money. You know, that's the bottom line. So if you work with me, I'm going to tell you what we need to do to make money. And if you follow those money making activities and you don't get off track too far, then we're going to make a bunch of money. So that's how it works. And if you don't, we won't work together very long. So there it is.
Boom. Jarrett, handle it.
Why am I the #1 mentor on the platform? Because I'm going to take you from 0 to hero. And most importantly, make sure your deals get closed and you get paid. Holler at me.
All right, we're gonna go up to Janice.
Dang. I don't have a catchy line, but I've been told I'm extremely patient. Comes in handy if you really do want to learn. I've been doing this for 6 years and I know a lot of technical things that people don't know. So I can just help you know how to do solar right from the very beginning.
And she has a 45% close rate on my referrals. Thank you so much. You are one of the best. Cynthia, what you got? Why should people choose you? Why are you the best tier 3?
In a nutshell, I really care about the client. Like I really, really want to make sure the client is happy. They have customer service experience, and any deal that's brought my way, I really do treat it as my own. Like it really pains me when I don't close something. And so I do have pretty high close rate, pretty good. I think we were all up there on the premier California closers. So Jarrett, I don't have a catchy tagline, but yeah, I would just say I treat every deal like my own. It's really important to me that I close a deal for tier 1 sellers and I treat them just like my own leads.
Jarrett will take you from 0 to hero and he'll drop you if you don't follow.
If you act up, bro, if you
check you.
ask too many questions.
We all want that tough love.
No, but
All right.
can I just, one last thing in closing, any single one of these mentors right here, you would be absolutely blessed and fortunate to work with. And if you get a chance, try to work with every single one on here, right? Every single one of them is going to provide something different and you're going to learn from. So if you want to take your sales game to that next level, work with many top tier mentors as you can. That's my advice.
All right, Chris, #1 recruiter in all power. Why are you a great tier 3 mentor?
I'm a great tier 3 mentor because I'm a clone of Jonathan Brunasso. I'm literally his twin. We share the same DNA. No, just kidding. I'm one of the top mentors nationwide. Power's even sent me all these darn cute little trophies here. And, I have a 40% or better close ratio, especially when the steps are followed and the appointments booked on my calendar. I provide trainings to my mentee. I care about the mentees. I want them to sell on their own. I will push you to go ahead and make your slide deck, to take the lead on the presentation, and I will support you because I want you selling on your own and being independent and successful as quickly as possible, providing trainings. But the biggest thing that distinguishes me as a mentor is you get my whole team. I have a full-time assistant that will literally help you with scheduling. Once the project is sold, my assistant will actually manage the job for us and text us and train you and reach out to the customer and provide a white glove service. If the job isn't sold, I actually have software that will drip on your customer for up to 18 months. So when you add me as a mentor, you not just get me, but you get my entire team, training, resources, etc.
Can I have a redo on mine?
And for anyone that wants to use me as mentor, the steps are right there in the chat. Let's go.
Chris, I'm gonna start using you as my mentor. That sounds
Let's go,
good.
buddy.
Hook me up, dude.
Let's go.
All right. Let me wrap up this recording. Please put in the chat, thank you to these awesome tier 3 mentors, some of the most successful this year and in power. And if you like something that in particular today, go ahead and throw it in the chat. So thank you, Tony, Jarrett, Janice, Cynthia, Chris, for crushing it, leading the way, leading with value and leadership from the front, and income and impact, helping others while making hundreds of freaking thousands of dollars with friends and families from Vegas to beach houses to Utah to Canada and Northern California and beyond. That's what we get to do here. So thank you, you guys. Let's go.
You guys are awesome.
Go.